Hey, Tom, Major, we missed you 2 weeks. You feeling good? You're back?
Much better, man. Much better. Ready to go rock and roll.
I'm so happy, man. But every time, I do these calls, I'm like, man, my right hand person is not there. Somebody who can help me out. When people ask me a question, I'm like, I panic. Like, I don't know how to answer your question other than just raise your hand and all that. So I appreciate it, man.
For sure.
All right. Well, great. Lots of people joining us today. Sounds like it's going to be a long call. Before I make any announcements, I want to actually say I've never done this before, but what I would like to say is just say hi to everyone, read out their names because I realized when people watch this recording, they never actually see who else is on the call. Obviously, when you're on the call at the moment, you can see who's on, but when you see the recording, you won't know. So I'm gonna say out your names as we go along. I do have to tell you that our guest today unfortunately canceled at the last moment. So we don't have a guest speaker, and that literally happened last moment. So I really didn't have any other thing that was prepared. However, a lot of people had asked me if you've been around the community long enough. People have asked me about doing a training on Podio, which I had done before I had done any kind of newbie coaching, and the recording was lost. So I found the old slideshow. So it's very brief, but so I didn't have much time to prepare, but at least that's something that we can talk about. I can guarantee that it's going to be helpful because a lot of people have asked me, we want to use a CRM and we have no idea what CRM to use. So this CRM I use, I've been using it for many, many years. It's extremely, extremely solid, and it's actually more than a CRM. It can do a lot of different things. In fact, Scott has used it. So Scott also talks about Podio. So if you might have noticed, so I'm gonna say out some of the names, some of the people who are on the call because I appreciate you taking the time to be on the call. I see Billy is there, Michael is there, Ralph is there, Robert is there, Bob. Hi, nice to see you, Bob. Chris, Craig is there, Dennis is there, Felicia is there, Gina is there, Jason is there, Jenny and Anthony is there, Jojo is there, um, lots of people, Mary, Maria, Michael, another Michael, Patrick, Rachel, Robin, Stephen, Zach. Hi, Zach. How are you, Bill? So as people come in, I appreciate you taking the time. So just like I said, today what I'm going to do is I don't have a guest. Unfortunately, we had a last minute cancellation. So I'm going to talk about how to use Podio for SlowFlip. While I'm talking, you can actually open a separate browser. I will actually share my screen. I will show you the slideshow. I will do the slideshow. Then I will in real time show you my database, my Podio, where I use it for my other business. I have a music academy, so I use it for that. I do a lot of advanced automation as well. I won't go into too much details, but you will know how strong it is and what you can do with it for slow flips. So let me share my screen. And while I'm doing that, please, if you have any questions, use the feature within Zoom to raise your hand as early as now because remember we only have 40 minutes for the calls. Towards the end, I'll try to take as many questions as I can. All right, so uh, how to use Podio for slow flips? Let me see if I can maximize this. Can you see my screen? Can everybody see my screen? All right, perfect.
Yes.
Let's see here. Full screen. There you go. Should work. All right. So first slide, we're going to talk about what is a Podio. I'm going to specifically talk about the layout and basic functions. I'm going to try to keep it as basic as possible. I'm also going to talk about specifically how you can use Podio for slow flips. And then I'm going to show you how I use it for my non-real estate business. I had used Podio for slow flips when I first started. It was very useful because remember what Scott says that you got to look at 100 houses. Well, guess what? Once you start seeing so many different houses, sometimes you come across the same house and you don't even know you're looking at the same house and you're going crazy. Well, I don't know if I saw this house or not, right? After you see, and remember, you're going into different markets. So the homes start looking same. You know what I'm saying? So if
Right.
you have one
That is,
place where the database is there, you can put all of those things there.
I will
All
listen
right.
while fixing my room, then I'll listen.
Can you please
Awesome.
mute your mics, please? All right. So Podio is podio.com. It's a web-based software. It's not a CRM only. I just wrote there because this is what I'm talking about today. So it's a very sophisticated software that can do a lot of different things, but CRM is one of the things that you can do. It allows you to organize and save your business information in one place. You can customize how Podio works to suit your needs. That's what I really, really like about it. In other words, you can typically customize everything within it in terms of all the forms, the layout of your database. So it's very, very flexible in that sense. The biggest benefit when I did this slide more than a year ago, originally, there used to be a free version. So unfortunately, there is no free version. But that doesn't mean that if you're really starting out and you don't want to spend any money, if you really search online, I'm sure you can find free CRM versions out there. All right. But this one now, the cheapest version, the entry version is $9 a month. You can use the software to create a simple database, or you can create a full-blown CRM, right? Like I said before, it's fully customizable. What I like about it is literally like, when you go and if you want to create a website, obviously there's a whole bunch of options out there. The one of the easiest and best ways I like creating website is where you have the drag and drop option, right? So this database you can create with the drag and drop option, which I love. It has very, very powerful features. So I'm going to talk about the automation that you can do with this, which is in the premium version as well. And you can totally automate your marketing doing this. Now, this is the most important thing that you have to understand. If you understand this, then as soon as you look at Podio, you'll figure out everything. So it's the layout, how the database is configured. So on the very top is organization. If I'm not wrong, when you set up an account, the most of the basic accounts, you're allowed one organization. I believe you can have, if I'm not wrong, you can probably have close to 100 workspaces. So your under organization will be your workspace, and under each workspace, you can have an individual customized app. All right. So that's the basic function on how it's structured. And then this is how I would structure it if you want to visualize for real estate business or for slow flip business, how you would do that. So on the very top, you will have, for example, Happy Homes LLC. That's your LLC. That will be your organization. Within that, your first workspace could be slow flips, and you could be doing wholesale. So that could be another workspace. Now, within your workspace, you can create these apps. For example, you buy slow flips from the MLS. So you can create an MLS-based app. Within that, you will have records. Does that make sense? And so you have Freedom Accelerator. You could have one app for that, and you could have records under that. You could have direct mail, and you can have records under that, and so on. And same with wholesale. You could, you could be wholesaling, and you could be buying from, I don't know, Bob, and he's sending you a lot of leads, and you have a separate folder for that, and you have separate records, and you're putting properties under him. And so that's how one way to structure this. So this is when I was actually using Podio for slow flips earlier, this is what I was literally doing. I I was keeping track of all the properties that I was underwriting, because remember Scott had said you got to look at 100 homes in the market that you're in. So that I'm trying to remember this. I don't think he means 100 homes overall. So if you're looking at three different cities, that doesn't mean 100 homes in three cities. If I'm not wrong, what it means is, because the purpose of looking at 100 homes is to understand the market. The only way you're going to understand the market well is to look at 100 homes in that specific market. So let's say you're looking at Toledo, Ohio. Well, you got to look at 100 homes in Toledo, Ohio, right? And so and after a while, if you're looking at 3 or more cities, I mean, you'll have hundreds of properties that you've looked at. Now, not everybody is going to download a picture. Not everybody is going to put all the data in there. And I'm not suggesting you do that. Let's say you are really serious about it and you want to understand it, especially if you want to understand valuation. And if you start documenting the properties, after a while, you'll start seeing patterns. You'll start seeing patterns on in a specific zip code. What are the properties? What are the specs? Are most of the homes 2 bedroom in this zip code, or because it depends on the subdivision as well? But very quickly you'll understand, what's going on. So it's a great way to keep track of all the properties that you're underwriting or have you done underwriting on, right? You can check and update the status of each of the property you're considering. I've had properties where I've put an offer in, and for whatever reason, either the agent or seller did not get back to me, but it's still online. So what I would do is I would go back to that person and say, hey, what's the status? Are you still interested in selling? Right? And so this is one way, because especially if you looked at hundreds of properties, you're going to lose track of who you spoke to, when, where would you keep all of that, right? So this is a good way to keep it in one place. You can put up tags, or you can actually put alerts so that you can go back and check on that property after 30 days or 60 days, right? So that's another way of doing it. You can keep track of, you can record all your communication. So if you're sending all these emails, instead of going back in Gmail and searching for them, you can search by the properties. When you click on the property, you'll see all the communication you had with the contact person. You can also do calculations. So if you're using the minimum or the maximum allowable offer formula, you can apply that and put it in there. And when you put in the price, it will tell you what your offer should be. So you can do those kinds of things in there as well. So now this is what I'm doing right now. So like I said, I'm not using Podio for my slow flip business anymore, because right now I don't really need it. I don't have that many properties. Maybe if I had that many properties, I might use it. But right now, I'm using it for music school business. So this is what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of things with it. So within Podio, I have organic web leads coming in. I have paid leads coming in. Then I have automated follow-ups that I'm using Zapier, which connects with Podio and runs. Zapier is another app or application, web-based application that can connect to different application online to communicate. So in other words, I have Podio and I have Mailchimp. Well, by itself, they can't talk to each other. If you bring Zapier in between, Zapier can now talk to Podio, and then it can talk to Mailchimp. So in other words, I'll show you some of the things I'm doing. It's pretty exciting, and maybe you can do these for SlowFlips for yourself. So for example, with Zapier, you can have automated voicemail software attached to it, and you can trigger those. You can have automated text software that can trigger messages, voicemail based on the new record that is created in Podio. And of course, you can connect to MailChimp so that you have automated emails going out to your prospects. So now let's say you do want to use for Podio. What would be the couple of steps you can do to get it going? And I'll log into Podio in a moment and I'll show you that as well. These are the 5 steps that you can do to set up your you can actually use templates. They are real estate business management or real estate related templates. These are all free. And basically what these templates are is other people who use Podio. By the way, there are a lot of real estate professionals, especially wholesalers, who use Podio professionally, and they do a lot of stuff with it. So when they create their templates, some of the template they make public for free for use for anyone. So you can download that template. If that is close to what you're doing, then you can use those templates, and that's what this is. So these packs, as you can see, when you click on the pack, it has all of these apps. So this pack has a lead app, it has a contact app, it has a communication app, appointment setter app, offers app. Do you see what I'm saying? So otherwise, you will have to manually create these apps to create, well, what should I say for offer? How should I record what I offered? When was the offer placed? When does it expire? All that kind of stuff. Well, these are pre-made apps. You can actually download them. All right, so here are the 5 steps. Step number 1, set up your organization name, whatever it is. You can use your LLC as the name, whatever you want. You can do that. Step number 2, once your organization is created, click on Add App towards the top portion of the screen, and then you can go to the app market. And this screenshot is for the app market. And all you do is simply put in real estate, and all sorts of templates come up. And there's real estate business management, there is real estate rental management, renters, or all sorts of things. All right, and then from the list, like I said, you can choose real estate and property, and then choose real estate business management pack. This is specifically what I would recommend that you install. This will install several apps, and then you can customize each app to your liking. Okay, so let me now stop this and let me share my other screen so that you can see how it is. All right, you can see my screen. Okay, all right, so this is Podio. This is my account, and on the very top, you can see this is where the organization, you can disregard this. This is basically a local community. So per account, you're allowed one organization. So my organization is name of my school, Music Academy. Within that, these are the workspaces, right? So this is my main workspace. So I'm going to open that up. And if you remember, so you have organization, you have workspace, and within these workspace right here, these are all the apps. And I believe you can have either unlimited apps. I don't know. I mean, I have 15, 20 apps. So for example, let's say I have my client app. So this app, literally, if you click on the wrench, this is how you create your customized app. So I wanted my student name first. So literally what I would do is I will drag and drop a text box, and I can name it student name, and that becomes my student name. And that's exactly how I want this shown. So I'm going to close this, get rid of this. And so you are different. You can do relational, you can do categories, you can do contact, like I said, a whole bunch of different options here. So based on that, this is how I created my app, and that's my app. And based on the app are the records right here. So here is a record. So as you can see, this is, you just input the name of the person. You can have different categories and all that. But what I want to show you is that, for example, this is one of the apps which I call it an intake app, which means, let's say if you create this app and you create a form. So this app is basically a form which looks like this. So here is my website. And if you go to the website, on the website, you can embed this form. So if you scroll down my website, this is, as you see right here, it's the form by Podio right here. So it's embedded on my website, right? So how is the real life application is that I have prospects who come to my website, they fill in the information, choosing what instrument they want. That is captured in this database because this database is connected to that, which creates that. So here is one of the person who completed the form, right? So I got their information over here, right? So that's how this works. So in other words, you can embed the app into other applications like your website. All right. So like I said, there's a whole bunch of apps here for different purposes. You can, like I said, you can define it however you want to. Now, within this section, remember this was your organization. Now, I do have a SlowFlips app, which I originally created. I haven't used this for a long time, and I'm trying to see if I have. So this was leads. Yeah, this is how I created this. This was a while back. So now I'm trying to see if you see all of this data that came in. This was from the pack, that pack that I got, the real estate pack within the marketplace. And so you can put up a picture. You can have a listing status. You can change this if you don't like it. So you can click on between them, right? So if it's pending, whether it's sold, right? So go back to available, deal status, analyzed. Have you run ghost ads? I mean, these are all the things that I had put up. I didn't end up using them. So for example, if you did test, you did ghost ads and you got poor response, you would click poor. And then actually, all of these things, you can search them. So let's say you have a couple of hundred properties now, and you wanted to, well, obviously you don't want to look for the one that had poor response, but let's say you want to search for the ones that had great response, right? So you can go back and look at the properties that had great response. Let's say you're doing research, you're trying to find out what was the zip code they were in, and they had amazing response. Which of those properties did you looked at had great responses, right? What kind of a deal is it in your opinion? And is it not a deal? Is it an average deal? Is it a good deal? You can have different categories. Um, you can have a sold field. You can have an asking price field. So you can create, calculations on figuring out, what is the average listing price in this neighborhood, and so you can kind of have some data collect from that. Number of bedroom, number of bathroom. The actual MLS listing, I'm not sure. Uh, I'm not really sure. I don't remember if it actually. Oh yeah, there's a link for Zillow. So obviously this must have been sold by now. So yeah, it was sold. So it's interesting. Let's look at this property. So this property, it's in Toledo, was in Toledo, Ohio. I looked at this property. Oh my gosh, this was exactly a year ago. 324 Parker Avenue. That's amazing. It was listed at $25,000 a year ago. It is not too small, 978 square feet, and 2 bedroom, 1 bath. So for 2 bedroom, 1 bath, that's a decent size home, right? Yeah, so I did some research. I remember that now. So see, the average rent in this market was 780, and I did other calculations as well. You can have these estimated repairs. Now I remember this. This is when I was kind of, starting out. If you look at my comments, lots of boarded homes in the neighborhood, high crime rate. Well, obviously there will be high crime rates. Mostly we buy in areas that are declining areas, but boarded homes is a red flag, right? You don't want to be buying where the entire neighborhood is boarded, right? You want to be buying in neighborhoods where, I mean, maybe one house is boarded up, but there are other people living in that neighborhood, right? So that's what I saw a year ago, and it looks like that it's sold for 28,000. So I don't know how that happened. Maybe it sold once, maybe they offered more than asking price. But yeah, so that's the record for this property. So do you see it's all within Podio, and then you have other properties. Let's look at another one. This one was listed at 27,000. I believe it's the same zip code, right? 43605. Yep, 43605. So I was kind of looking in the similar zip codes to look at the how the properties were doing, and so that's where this property. So this one is 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,300 square feet, and here's the listing. Now it says 16,000, so it actually sold for 16,000. It was listed at 25. So yeah, either some wholesaler bought it, and resold it, or maybe with some other investor right now. So there's a premium version, which is the Podio automation. So instead of getting Zapier, you can have internal automation within Podio, and this is for that. And I believe it's $25 or something per month. I paid for the whole year, and this is how it really works. It's really, really cool stuff. So, for example, going back to my prospects, when my prospects, this is my prospects app, right? So remember, I told you that people go on my website and they click on and request information, right? So this is somebody who requested information about 2 months ago. All right. So when they clicked on it, I created something automation within my app, and this is the automation how it works. So if you look, this person chose they wanted piano lessons. When they do that within the automation, I created a separate automation for, let's see what the age was, 6 years old. So I have a separate automation for somebody who's 6 years old, and this is what the automation looks like. And what it means is you're setting up triggers. Like when step one happens, you want certain trigger to happen, and this happens automatically, which means you don't really have to do anything, and you'll get a record of what action took place. So what I'm saying is when somebody creates a form and if they choose piano and the age is, well, this is going too much into details, but it's you can have filters on it. But this is what the trigger is. The trigger is I want my system to automatically send them an email with relevant information. So let's say now you have to figure out how you're going to apply this for SlowFlips. Maybe you're putting in a lot of offers. Maybe you have a web page where you're directly working with sellers and they're coming and completing a form, right? So you want automation going out so that whatever you want them to take an action on. So in this case, automation, I sent two emails. The first email gives them a very specific information about my school. The second one gives them information about the tuition fee and the next step. So this is a CTA for what they need to be doing. So that's how the automation is working. Now, when it works, this is what happens. Do you see the right side? All of this was automatically generated by the software automation. So it actually brings a record of what it ran, and then there's a record in the original or the record that was created in Podio. So I can go back and see, okay, they completed the form and automation sent them the information. If somebody needs to go and follow up with them by phone, they can do that. So that's how the automation works on this. And let me just take some questions and then we'll go from there. All right. So, Craig, go ahead.
Oh, hey.
How are you?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
And I was asking her about structure and things like that because as I mentioned to you when you were kind enough to give me the referral, I was trying to make sure I had the right structure for the business with my LLCs and kind of understand that. But I also wanted to be taking action. So just this past few days, I pulled the trigger just within the community, got under contract from a wholesaler for what will hopefully be the first slow flip if we if
All
we
right.
close
Congratulations.
in a couple of weeks.
Good.
So we're super excited on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Good job.
But thank you. But that led to some basic questions from a newbie, which is just kind of when hopefully in a couple of weeks when the occupant's out of there and it's free to close on that end of it before I can list it. Is that going to be just the agreement for deed document that we're essentially leveraging at that point for my next step?
Well, so
Because those are the different documents that were available.
who are you buying from?
Sorry.
Somebody in the community, right?
Somebody in the community, yes.
Okay, fine. Now there's a tenant in there. Is that correct?
There won't be, there should not be by the time, within the next
Okay.
couple of weeks. That's
So
being worked
what
on
do
now.
you like to do is talk to the person you're buying that I need to do a walkthrough 24 hours prior to closing to make
Right.
sure that the property is vacant and any other thing that you would like to do. In fact, you should be doing a walkthrough anyway. What if somebody stole the copper wiring from the house the night before? right? And so it become, well, it's your home after you fund it. So I would do that and make sure that happens. So yes, once that person is out, then whoever is filling, they should be the one. I don't know if you're going to use the same person to fill or not, but I would suggest just put it on the community and let the community decide, if they're going, who's going to help you with this. And
Yeah,
then
I got to figure out the boots on the ground.
and they're the one who are going to do the CFD for you. So they do this all the time and let them handle it. That's what I do. I mean, they do it day in, day out. Let them handle it.
Oh yeah, right at this point, because I'm so new, I'm perfectly happy. I think it's a great value for for the half the deposit or whatever it is for
Yeah,
leveraging
absolutely,
them.
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
definitely intend on doing that.
Yeah, perfect. All right, cool. Well, if you have any other question, just DM me and I'll be happy to answer. We just have about 5-6 minutes left, so I want to
Okay.
take as many questions. But
Yeah, sure.
congratulations, great. That's
Thank
great.
you. Yeah, we're excited.
Cool. Jenny, go ahead.
Yes, I'm curious if this is like HubSpot, because I've been looking at HubSpot for my normal business. So,
HubSpot
and I
is
didn't
great.
know this, and I've heard of Podio, but I didn't know this has, could help you with your normal business on top of the real estate. So, any insight on that?
Yeah, absolutely. HubSpot is great as well, but I believe HubSpot is owned by a marketing company, so they have a lot of things that are embedded within it that allow you to do marketing stuff. But I just like Podio because it's very customizable. So you can do any business. There are many different type of corporations and smaller startups who use Podio, so you can use that.
Can you set up text campaigns with Podio?
Yes, you can. But these are all additional outside apps that you will have to use. Podio itself doesn't do it.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. Hey, Zach, how are you?
Hey, Amir, thanks so much for sharing what you're using. I mean, it's like
Sure.
very structured. I love it.
Yeah, sure.
So one question that I have is, Scott recommended like the Deal Factory, right? I haven't really look at it, right? So, but what's the difference?
I have not used it, but it's a very real estate specific software, and it's pretty cool. I mean, if you're doing wholesaling and you're sourcing deals, and you're planning to wholesale or any other activity, and you're doing it a little bit a higher scale, I think it's definitely worth it because it is not cheap. It is more expensive. So it's a matter of, I would suggest just do a demo. I believe they allow you to have a free demo. So just do a demo. I know who you're a smart person. You're an engineer. You'll very quickly figure out the value of it. So do a free demo and then you'll assess, well, is it worth it or not? Definitely the software is good. It's just that it comes with so many bells and whistles, which I'm like, man, do I really need all of that? That's what the thing is.
Gotcha. But it is a CRM as well, right?
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. It's definitely you can use it as a CRM as well. But like I said, you're paying for all these other things that you may or may not use. So,
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you.
all right, man. Mary, hi.
Hi. My buyer and us agreed to make a little bit of modifications on the original contract. Do I need to do something other than in an email? Should I do, is there another form for a modification of the initial contract, or how do we do that?
You mean tenant buyer?
Tenant buyer, yes.
What do you mean modification? Tell me what the modification is.
If she was late after day 5, she would have a late fee. We changed it to day 10.
Oh, okay. You can,
Yeah.
yes, you can do one-page modification,
Okay.
and depending on what state and county are you in?
It would be Decatur, Illinois.
Decatur, Illinois. Who did your filling for you?
Sabrina.
Sabrina?
Whoever
Sabrina is
Sabrina-
great. She can help you with that. She's very well known and she does a lot of stuff. She will know exactly what to do. She will probably have the document like a modification, and she can walk you through that. So just ask her, hey, this is what we are planning on doing. Can you help us do that?
Thank
She
you.
might charge you a fee or not, but she will definitely get it done. It's really easy for these guys. They do it every day.
All righty. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Amanda.
welcome. Absolutely. All right, man. So it looks like there's no other question. So, Major, how are you, sir? Let's chat a little bit. Are you still there?
Hey,
Oh, man.
yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Awesome.
okay. You're walking around. I see you walking.
That's great. showing us the CRM that was like filling my head with ideas what I need to do, like because I'm going into Toledo market after
Right.
next month, so it'd be great for me to start tracking the properties so I can have Zapier load them into CRM and
Yeah.
build the market price, the rents, and
Hey, I was wondering, do we have any kind of special for Deal Factory that Zach can? I don't know if there's a free trial because he's asking about that, and maybe some other people
yeah.
are.
So
So,
yeah, there's like a trial period. I think all the affiliate things in the program are trial
oh, okay.
periods. Yeah, and
Okay, so they can do
then
that. All right, let me
yeah.
take one more question and then we'll end. Jason, hi, how are you, Jason? Go ahead.
Hi, Amir. Hey,
Hi.
the question is probably I've answered my own question. I've been looking at all the different markets and really going through the sold side of our group, right? Looking at those and kind of keeping track. Uh, Instead of trying to go into different markets, because I've got one that's about to close in Peoria,
Mm-hmm.
would you recommend just kind of focusing and trying to buy in that one market for a while? Or,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely. And in fact, if you do that, well, guess what? You'll not only become an expert in the market because you've seen so many properties in that market. The
Okay.
only problem I found is that, all markets have cycles. You'll get excited and you'll start looking at properties, and then the cycle, what happens is suddenly there'll be less properties coming on the market. And then now you're second guessing yourself and you're saying, oh, maybe I should have seen the other market. And then you'll move to other market. And so for me, that was kind of happening. So that's why I ended up buying in several markets, because if I kept looking, and I love Peoria, I have several properties in Peoria. But what happened was after a while, let's say I'm in the market to buy, and there'll be nothing in the market, right? Or I can't find what I'm looking for in the market. So if you're patient and you want to do that, that's actually a very, very good strategy. I was speaking to someone, I forgot who, and that person only buys in one market. I'm not sure if it was Peoria, but it was this one market in Illinois, and he had like more than 15 properties, and they were all in one market. But he was so good at it, no, because he's bought so many, and so yep, that's a great strategy.
Okay.
All
Thank you.
right. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. We run out of time. And once again, thanks very much. Like I said, I'm going to put up the recordings as soon as I can. I'll see you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.